Folks, we're glad to welcome you to the Ukrainian Crisis Media Center. And now the spokesperson of the administration of the President of Ukraine on anti-terrorist operation issues, Colonel Oleksandr Motuzyanyk, will tell you the latest from the east of Ukraine. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Now about the major events in the anti-terrorist operation zone for the last day. In Luhansk sector, the epicenter of the enemy aggression was Stanitsa Luhanska and its suburbs. Early in the morning and late at night, from their positions on the high bank of the Siversky Donetsk River, the enemy has conducted a series of shellings of the Ukrainian positions. In the vicinity of the Orikhovo village, Popasna district, the Ukrainian military have repelled the attack of the enemy subversive group that moved to the south. Also, provocations of illegal armed formations were in Shasta-Krimsky and Zolotea with the use of small firearms. In the Donetsk sector, next to Svetlodarsk and Horlivka, the situation is rather calm, except episodic firing from small firearms and grenade launchers. However, the situation next to Donetsk has become sharper, even though the combat action between Avdiivka and Piska go around the clock almost every day. The three major districts of concentration of the heavy armaments of the gunmen is the Spartak settlement, the territory of the ruined Donetsk airport, and the adjacent territory of the Kiev district of Donetsk. It was from these grounds that the gunmen have yesterday at night conducted a very powerful shelling of Ukrainian positions and settlements from 120mm mortars, tanks, 122 and 152mm cannons. At least 4 long-lasting shelling of residential blocks by illegal armed formations happened yesterday. Ukrainian positions and villages in the nearest rear have found themselves under barrage. Nevske, Prvomaiske, Vodene, at the distance of 5 to 10 kilometers from the front line. Also, there was exchange of fire between the anti-terrorist operation forces and gunmen in Avdiivka, Krasnogorivka and Mariivka. In Mariupol sector yesterday, the active combat action were only early in the morning before the sunrise. In particular, the enemy fired from heavy armaments at our positions on the right bank of the Kalmius River. They used both mortars and cannons. Episodic use of small firearms was in Chermalik and Shirokine. Yesterday, 4 flights of enemy drones were detected in the anti-terrorist operation zone. Over the last day, as a result of combat action, 1 Ukrainian military has died and 7 were wounded. As a result of more active actions of the enemy and numerous provocations, the anti-terrorist operation forces have sustained losses in all directions. Most of them happened in the western suburbs of Donetsk. The President of Ukraine has bestowed high state awards on 64 military of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and servicemen of the Ministry of Interior. Everyone was awarded posthumously. Among them are participants in the action at Ilovaisk and Debaltseve. The Security Service of Ukraine operatives have detained an abettor of the occupants while they were checking the residence of a citizen of the city of Rubizhny, Luhansk region. They found combat grenades and pistol and also subversive literature. In Mariupol, the law enforcers have revealed the abettor of the gunmen. The criminal case is launched against the deputy head of the Zhotnev district administration of Mariupol. She took part in the organization of pseudo-referendum that armed gunmen have organized in May last year. The fight against illegal trafficking of goods through the delineation line is continuing. In Verkhnotoretsk village, the bodyguards have found 1,300 files with drug-containing medicines that a citizen of Ukraine tried to traffic to Donetsk. Also at the Red Road checkpoint Bus, the bodyguards have detained people who conspired to illegally transport to the occupied territories almost 2 tons of poultry. Also, they tried to bribe the bodyguards with 20,000 hryvnia, but they were detained and handed over to the policemen. Another lorry was detained, which was transporting coins of the Ukrainian make to the tune of almost 1 million hryvnia. The Ukrainian volunteers have organized a trip of our military to Kherson region to go through physical, psychological, and social rehabilitation. And at the moment, this is all. If you have questions, please, I'm ready to ask. About Vodyane, what was the aggression of the gunmen then, and were there any losses among Ukrainians? Yes, yesterday, almost at 8:45 p.m., the gunmen have powerfully shelled the village of Vodyane, which lasted for almost half an hour. We have preliminary information. 1 peaceful resident was killed and several were wounded. We are now making this information. We are checking this information. Thank you very much. See you later.